committee would know that well, because this is the committee that formed this office. We would like to be satisfied that you did that all that you did all that is in your power to make the necessary reactions. Would you, in your response, tell us if you sought any help to enforce your cessation order from any other government entity, so that whatever orders that you are giving to these Worldcoin people would be enforced? So at the policing level, at the enforcement level, what action did you take? So respond to these questions, and then I shall give directions on the way forward.
Before that,
Honorable Vice Chair.
I'm now a happy man because you have finally disclosed the actual status of this, the whole saga to me. But I want to remind you something. From my view, I want to agree with the Honorable Mweshi here that you are not working to your ability to deliver best. If you gave a certificate on April 2023 and you, after a month or days, you give another certificate to cease the same operation you approved, there must be something in a mess. And in your explanation, you categorically say that you perused every document before you give the certificate. That includes assessment, investigation. Now, I may wonder which investigation did you do for the same company that you have given a registration certificate in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you again terminate the services. Now, from this one, Chair, that's my observation. We need more time with this issue. We may not conclude it today, but we need more time, and it may lead to an inquiry. That's my suggestion also.
Chair, I would like this to go on statement 2. 1, from Chair.
Just hold on so that we can give you the floor. Just hold on. Madam Commissioner, I would like to know, before members react to this new information, whether you have any other information you would like to give to this committee. And that will come in your responses. But proceed, Honorable Dr. Rejoice.
Thank you, Chair. I would like these 2 statements to go on record. From the dates that you've given us on the highlight of the latest report, indicates inconsistency, conspiracy, and this issue of Worldcoin is not a surprise. It is something which was well planned. It was going on. It was only unfortunate that the target population who was scrambling and operating openly at KICC made Kenyans to realize that something is wrong. Otherwise, if they were well organized, they would just get in, walk quietly. I think this would have not come to our attention. This also contradicts part of the report that the CS said that he was not aware. So, Chair, I would like to reinforce the second statement that these dates clearly outlines that there is need for scrutiny of the reports that you've given and highlights of questions for responses sent to the Commission and the team, and then the multi-agencies who are implicated in this. So we need a actually, this should not be that could it be. It must be an inquiry, and an effective inquiry, because there are games being played here. Quite clear, quite indicative.
Chair.
Now, is there a final reaction, Honorable Kakuta?
Yeah. Through the Chair, I think this committee will be very interested to know that what really informed the letter that asked Worldcoin to cease from operation, because it sounds like there is only about 4 weeks apart from issuing the certificate to retracting the certificate. It will be very interesting to know what informed that decision of asking Worldcoin to cease from operations? Because we want to know.
Chair. Honorable Erastus Kibasu.
Thank you, Chair. With that letter of cessation and with the data that was collected, in just simple terms, can you tell us how safe the citizens' data that was collected is, wherever it is, whether in Kenya, whether outside, and where it is, whether it is safe for us?
Now, honorable members, this shall be the guidance from the chair. Now, honorable data commissioner, kindly respond to the best of your ability, and then I shall give direction.
The question asked by Honorable Bensouda on the office issued a certificate on 18th and 23rd of May. When we issued the certificate, and I think that question has come often, and I think in our response, and even the response by the CS, we tried to distinguish between the registration process and the inspection process. And we did say, even though we issue with a registration certificate, it does not mean you're compliant with all aspects of Data Protection Act. In May, on May 23rd, they were holding a booth at ID for Africa conference. So we did a spot check. When we walked into the booth, we asked questions. One of the questions we asked, explain to us what you're doing here. We were dissatisfied with the concerns, the questions that were answered, and that explained. And once we were dissatisfied is what led to the cessation order. We asked, consent, are you giving consent? Have you been trained on this issue? What are you explaining to the people who are coming to collect your information, who are dissatisfied? It's when we issued the cessation order. It's part of our way as an office to make sure that the information is protected.
Sorry, just an interjection. Are those ideas you are trying to explain to us part of the original ideas for you to issue a certificate?
Yes, they are even written there.
Then why were you not...
I mean, you mean you asked that question about the registration. I'll explain to you about the registration process.
Don't get out of... You're giving a very good clue there.
Yes.
The reasons that made you to cancel.
Yes.
Are they the same reasons? Are they the same points to consider when giving out registration?
No, they are not. They are not the same. They are not the same reasons. Like we explained, there's a checklist in terms of checking. We verify whether the information you've given us is accurate to the best of our knowledge. But now when it comes to the actual work, that's an inspection. You said this in your paperwork. Is it what you're doing? You said consent. That one of the reasons you're relying on is consent. But when we go to...
I'm not getting, eh?
Yes.
Remember in your explanation you said before you issue a certificate,
Yes.
You do a background check. In fact, I listened to you very categorically, but I say you do assessment, you do investigation.
No, Vice Chair.
But that's what you said.
No, I said at the point of issuing a registration certificate, which is only a registration process, we are guided by the guidance notes in terms of the documentation you give to us. So if you said that you have safeguard measures, you say it on paper, at inspection, that's a post fact.
Then who is responsible on the ones we are saying?
It is responsible on the what the inspection or what, sorry, Chair?
No, who should be responsible on the ones now you are saying that leads to the cancellation? The ones now, the noble points. You're the one responsible.
Yes.
Then who's responsible in the registration to give the permit?
It is us.
It's you.
Yes, it's us.
Something in a mess.
And Chair, I did say, can I continue answering the other question?
Yes, kindly proceed, Madam Commissioner.
On the authorization of the processing of the companies, and I said I want to just restate, Chair, we are not responsible for authorizing companies to operate in Kenya. We are responsible for registration of the data controller and the data processor. So I think there needs to be that distinction. we register data controllers and data processors. We do not authorize them to do their core mandate. Chair, on the operation of KICC, we were not aware of the engagement with the IKC. We have held the letter that on the cessation on the matter of issuance of the communication on the media. I'm lost on this one. We are not aware in terms the point of entry of Worldcoin into Kenya. Entry that we don't know, Chair. It would probably be good to shed light from other government agencies. They can give clarification on the issue of issuing communication. Communication. The office communicated to Worldcoin through its legal representative, which is allowed by law, to identify themselves as acting on behalf of the Tools for Humanity. And in law, it's allowed for you to come and say, I'm acting on behalf of these people. But, Chair, I think you've guided there's an opportunity for them to come and explain here. Chair, on the legal basis, the Chair, on registration, I think I've talked about registration. I've talked about the matter of cessation of sensitive data. Chair, you've asked me whether there was a concern of whether we got in touch with the law enforcement agency. We did not know that Worldcoin were continuing their registration until they went public. Because when you issue a cessation order is when you only knew about it when it became to the public. And from what we did after realizing is when we did that press statement to caution the members of the public. For us, when we ceased, we didn't know there were any other operations that were going on in as far as Worldcoin is concerned. And when it went public is when it came to our attention, and what we did as an office was to issue that notification to the public. You've asked us whether there's any additional information. Chair, I'll go and check whether that file is comprehensive. If there's any additional information, we are willing to support this committee to the conclusion, to provide as much information as possible. It's not in our interest that this matter does not come to rest. For the last couple of weeks, that is the only thing we have talked about. And maybe just to emphasize, it is a complex issue that goes beyond data protection, Chair. We are keen on putting this matter to an end. As an office, we have identified gaps in terms of legislative framework and what needs to be done. I don't know if I've answered all the questions comprehensively. I want to commit, we will put all the answers in writing and submit them to the committee. I may not remember everything because I have to listen and also.
Thank you very much, honorable members, and I think we need now to take a direction on this. Now, we would first want to thank the Office of Data Commission for appearing before this committee, and I will start by noting that this committee is wanting to get more clarity on a distinction between the role of the Office of Data Protection on registration and the role of operationalizing the business. Now, what I will direct, Madam Commissioner, is that this is a matter of great public interest and time is of essence. And we have found the submissions today to be insufficient. One, insufficient in shedding light on what have been the failings in the operations of Worldcoin so far. As such, we are seeking your written resubmission of responses to the questions that we have asked. We have found the submissions insufficient to totally exonerate the Office of Data Protection Commission from culpability. And so, again, we direct that you resubmit your responses. And as you resubmit your responses, kindly beef them up so that they respond to the questions raised in today's proceedings. In addition to the direct questions that have been asked, it would be important to satisfy this committee by pointing out who to your mind you think could be persons of interest for this inquiry by this committee. We also are very keen to be satisfied that there is a complete cessation of operations of Worldcoin in Kenya, because if everybody is stating that they did not know this was going on, we are not convinced that there could not be such operations going on, continuing, or similar operations continuing in the within the boundaries of these countries. So, Madam Commissioner, kindly prepare responses that should be filed with the clerk of the National Assembly latest close of business Friday, so that this committee can now take the necessary actions. And we are very keen, Madam Commissioner, to summon you yet again. And this will be very soon. So be ready kindly to appear before this committee. We are now seized with this new information that is in the file. We shall have a look at it, and if we require any more information regarding what is contained in this file, it shall be written to you so that you can include it in the responses that you make. Honorable members, this committee shall in its wisdom advise on way forward. Thank you very much, Madam Commissioner. You shall allow the members to remain behind for just a few minutes on some deliberations that we would like to do in camera. So we thank you, Madam Commissioner. We thank your office for appearing promptly, and you now see why it would not have been prudent for us to push this to a later date. Thank you very much, and you are dismissed.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. I note that we do not have stranger journalists. These are journalists who are well versed with parliamentary proceedings, and I know they know their cue. As soon as they capture the moments they need to capture. So, honorable members, we're still in session. In a few minutes, as soon as the members of